£1,000 is a lot of money to spend on anything, let alone a mid-range electric trolley. Now, I've been using the brand new Motocaddy S5 that I've got right here in front of me for a few rounds now. So in this video today, I'm going to let you know a few of the key features that I think you need to be aware of, as well as some of the information about how I've got on using this trolley out in the real world. And to ease the impact on your wallet, I've included any exclusive discount and offer codes down in the description below. Now, a big thank you to Motocaddy and UKGolfAcademy.com for supplying me with this S5 unit. The entry-level unit for the S5 comes in at around £1,000 here in the UK. The unit that I've actually got here has the additional downhill control feature, which costs an extra £50. To cover off some of the core basics, the S5 comes with an integrated GPS, which we'll take a more detailed look at shortly. It has this aluminium frame and it has a removable lithium battery. If I just press this little release mechanism there, that comes out really nice and simple. And a key feature now with the new S5 is that it has got this little pop-up mechanism, so you can either charge the unit on the trolley, or if you want, you can take the battery out and charge it off of it in your house, leaving the trolley in your shed or in your car. Now, a key feature with this new battery design is the fact that when you pop it in the trolley and push the connection down there, so the trolley is now powered on, when you finish your round, you fold down the trolley and that little battery unit there automatically pops up. So you know that the trolley is off when you pack it back down. That's a really handy feature because on my Motocaddy, you can leave the battery connected and it will just lose its charge because the trolley's staying on even when it's in this pack down mode. So that's a cool little feature. While I've got it folded down, you can actually see that it's really easy to pull back up. It's just a one catch mechanism. You've got this blue button on the side here and you do it in one go. So you push it down and you pull it up in one go. On my Motocaddy M1 that I've got, that's got two different catches. Now, for me personally, doesn't bother me too much whether or not it's got two or one. The unit comes with Motocaddy's easy lock feature on the bottom here. So if you've got a Motocaddy cart or stand bag that has the easy lock as well, it means that the bag clips on nice and securely on the base and you don't need to have an extra elastic round the bottom. It does come with the elastic round the top and you just hook that round, put your bag on, and it's secure and good to go. When comparing the S5 to the M5, what you'll notice is that the front wheel, when you fold it down, remains static. So there's no additional folding. The only parts that fold and collapse down are the handle. With the M5, and on my M1 trolley as well, the front wheel collapses in on itself, which means it reduces the height of the trolley if that's something that's important to you. You can see here that on this unit, it doesn't actually break down any further, and sorry Motocaddy for all the mud that I've got on the bottom there. You can see that I've been giving this a good test. But what it means is that from the boot of my car, which is quite a small little Ford B-Max, so if you've got something like a Ford Fiesta or something that kind of size, I couldn't actually really fit this in the boot of my small car, not laying down flat. If I wanted to do that, then I'd have to take the wheels off. You can take the wheels off nice and easy. They've got a clip just like this here, so that's a really easy thing to do. And you can spin them around and then that will reduce the footprint of the wheels if that's something you want to do that way. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of doing that because it just means you're going to get muddy if your trolley is muddy at the end of your round. I don't really like the idea of doing that. So alternatively, what I do is actually stand the trolley upright and put a bag over the end wheel and just hope that it doesn't get the roof of my car too muddy. But if space is a constraint for you, then you might want to consider taking a look at the M series rather than the S series, because that does fold down a little bit smaller, but it does weigh a little bit more too, around an extra kilogram or so. This unit weighs in at 10 kilograms, so it's perfectly fine just to kind of pick up and move around. On the M series, it comes with a handle when this section folds up. Ooh, just pinged myself with the elastic. On this one, there's no handle. So you can see when I picked it up, just kind of picked it up by the frame. There's no problem doing that. It's just not, it doesn't have a dedicated handle. The wheels that come with the S5 are these, I think they call them the all-terrain wheels. Now, they're not winter wheels, so I don't think your club are going to let you use these if they insist that you use winter wheels here in the UK during these wetter months. However, they've certainly got a more aggressive tread pattern on them compared to the sporty style wheels that come with the M series trolley. With the basics out of the way, I want to talk about a couple of the key features with the S5 trolley. First of all, I want to talk about the cellular connectivity. So in this GPS unit, you actually have a little cell phone chip in there. So it's basically like a mini phone. And what that means is that it can keep the trolley up to date with the latest course information without ever having to actually connect to external Wi-Fi or connect to your own personal device. Now that's a really interesting and unique feature that I can definitely see some of the benefits of. When I first turned up to the course using it for the first time, I got the trolley out, turned it on, selected where I was, and it automatically started downloading the latest course details for the course I was. That's brilliant. That is really easy and convenient to use. However, that's not free necessarily with the unit. Motocaddy are giving you a generous 6 months trial of that system there. But if that's something that you want to continue to use, then you have to purchase their annual subscription performance plan, and that costs £50 a year. Now, £50 a year doesn't particularly sound a lot of money. You're not going to notice that necessarily over the course of 12 months. But when you're paying £1,000 or more for a trolley that has that connectivity in the system, and you just have to pay the money to unlock it, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that subscription model. In my opinion, I think Motocaddy missed an opportunity to actually provide incredible value by including that feature in the one-off upfront payment. You also get some other stuff that comes with that performance plan as well. And one of the key features of that package is the fact that it allows you to track your stats on the trolley as part of the GPS unit. And again, I've got a little bit of a frustration with that because other GPS units that I use in terms of watches or handheld devices allow you to track those features free of charge. That's part of the upfront payment. So to have to pay £50 a year to unlock that, what I would consider a pretty standard feature on GPSs now, it just leaves a bit of a sour taste. Using the actual GPS module on the trolley is a great experience with this. The first things that stood out to me were how good the screen looked in terms of the vibrance and the brightness and the contrast of the colours on there. And secondly, actually how responsive the touchscreen was. I've used GPS units in the past, whether it's a watch or a handheld, where it feels sluggish and slow. With this, you're getting a really snappy experience. The layout of the information, I think, is really well done. It's nice and simple to use. If you're not paying for the annual subscription plan, then what you get as standard is the green view, and it tells you the distances to the front, the middle, and the back. And then you can also press the button to show the hazards on the whole. Now, a little bit of a frustration is that for the hazards, for some reason, at the moment, it was only showing me the distance to the hazards. It wasn't showing me the distance to carry certain hazards, at least not for bunkers. You also have the ability to track the distances of your shots, and when pairing it with the Motocaddy app, you can also keep track of your scores on the device. I do have one bit of a frustration with that system, and that's that when you are keeping score on the trolley, when you get to the green, it doesn't automatically flip over to the score entry mode. You have to remember to press the button to enter the scores. If you forget to do that, then when you walk to the next tee, it takes you across to the next hole, as you would expect. But then when you suddenly remember, hang on, I need to enter that I've got a double bogey on that hole, I normally get a lot of double bogeys, you're probably entering pars and birdies. You then have to press additional buttons to get you back to the previous hole to enter your score, to then move it back to the next hole that you're currently on. Maybe that's something they can update with the firmware. We'll wait and see on that one. I think that would be a big improvement to the user experience. If you are paying the additional £50 a year subscription model on the performance plan, it then unlocks an additional view for each hole. You get the total hole layout. Now that enables you to touch points on the map and get the distances to hit it to there, as well as the distance then from there to the green. Again, I just think it's a missed trick from Motocaddy to really offer some great value. The performance plan also allows you to keep track of your putting statistics, as well as some of the shot statistics. So if you want to keep those stats and you only want to use the Motocaddy trolley and not an additional device, it's going to cost you an extra £50 per year. One other point to make on the GPS, and this is more of a generic point when you get a GPS integrated into a trolley, is that you have to realise that on occasions, you're not going to be able to use your trolley. Perhaps it's too muddy out and you're going to have to carry instead. Now, all of a sudden, that means that your GPS is stuck on the trolley. So unless you've got a separate watch or a separate handheld device, or you're going to use your phone with a GPS app, which I think the Motocaddy has, you've all of a sudden lost the features and benefits of the GPS unit. Now, of course, on the flip side of that, it means that because the GPS is part of the trolley, so long as the trolley is charged, your GPS is charged. So you don't have to worry about making sure that it's charged up and good to go, and you don't have to worry about forgetting it. You know it's on your trolley it's always going to be with you. So there's positives and negatives to weigh up. You can also connect your phone to the GPS. So if you're not using that wireless connectivity, then you can use your phone to update the firmware and the course updates. And you can also connect it to your home Wi-Fi as well. So it's pretty easy to keep it up to date if you don't pay for that extra subscription plan. When you connect it to your phone, you can then also get notifications pop up on the screen when someone's calling or texting, or even a notification from an app. They come up on your phone, and you have a good amount of control in the settings on the app in terms of what notifications you see on the screen. One other thing just to highlight, which I really like with this GPS unit, is that it has a defibrillator locator in it. That's a hell of a mouthful. Defibrillator, an AED locator. So if the course that you're playing at has confirmed to whatever subscription or website that it needs to, that it has a defibrillator, then if it's there, you can press the button and you can locate your nearest one should the emergency happen and someone in your group or on the course need a defibrillator. I'm still not sure I'm saying that right. Defibrillator. There we go. It'll also then even give you some CPR instructions on the screen if the worst comes to the worst and that's something you need on it. You hope that you will never ever need that feature, but I like the fact that it's on this trolley. The one other slight concern I always have when I have a GPS unit on an electric trolley is if it gets damaged, well, that's kind of it. It does have a touch screen on it and it's quite large, and if you damage it, well, that could be an expensive repair job for you. Whereas if you use a separate GPS unit, well, that's just one less thing on the trolley to break. You can buy a separate neoprene cover. I think this costs around £20, and it just hooks over the screen here like that, so it's nice and easy to put on, and then you've got some additional protection when you are transporting the trolley. But even so, I've got this demo unit here, and it had a slight little dent and chink out at the top of it there, so you still risk damaging this trolley in normal use. That's not something to worry about, and it's not a specific issue with the S5, but it's definitely something you want to consider before spending such a significant amount of money. Is that what you really want from your electric trolley? A couple of other features worth highlighting. The unit has a USB charging port built in, so it's USB-A just under the screen here. So you can charge your phone or any other device that you want to using the battery power from the trolley. And you have got this accessory mount here where you can attach scorecard holders or umbrella holders, things like that. But if you don't get it as part of the bundle, then that's going to cost you some additional money to be able to attach your umbrella and those accessories to the trolley. One other nice little feature with the trolley is that it has a parking brake on it. So on my basic M1, I'm pointing over there because it's currently in the shed, it doesn't have a brake on it. So if you do leave it on a significant downhill slope, then it has in the past rolled itself down that hill. So with this one, you spin the speed dial down all the way to the bottom, and then it goes to P, and you can hear a little click, and it locks the wheels in place. And you can see here that I had it on a significant downslope on the edge of a T-box, and it wasn't going anywhere. While talking about downhill, the unit that I've got here is the downhill control model. So you have to pay an extra £50 for that feature, but what it means is that when you're going downhill, the trolley will make sure that it's going the same speed. So if you've got it at a nice slow casual walk on perhaps a 4 setting, then when you go downhill, the trolley's not going to run away from you, and you can just carry on walking at the pace that you set it. Again, with my entry-level model of the M1, the trolley will run away from me, even though it's an electric trolley. So for the extra £50, given that you're already paying £1,000, personally, now that I've used it, I actually quite like that feature, and I think it's worth the extra £50. The motor being used in the S5 is extremely quiet. That was really impressive out on the course, and there's plenty of range from the lowest speed setting up to the highest. The handles have got a decent amount of stickiness to them, and they feel pretty good quality. There's a slight bit of curvature on the top to really kind of, ergonomically fit on your hands. And the dial is nice and easy to use. You just spin it left and right to change the speed, and then press the button to stop or start the trolley. Compared to my entry-level M1, which is very sensitive on the dial, I actually found that I didn't really have too much of an issue with this one, so it felt a little bit less sensitive, which is a good thing out on the course. One thing to note though is that you don't have really any adjustability with the trolley. On my M1, I can easily undo a screw and then raise the handlebar either up or down a little bit. With this one, it's fixed in place. I don't see any way to adjust that. I hope this video has been useful, so hit that like button if it has been, and if you didn't like this video, well, hit the dislike button, let me know. And as I said at the beginning, I've included any links and discounts down in the description below. The one thing that I would have liked to have seen on this trolley is an additional kind of wheel balancing at the back, because it can still tip over when going uphill, despite its quite low centre of gravity. I have had to kind of catch it a few times when going up some severe inclines. Now, given I have the exact same problem on my entry-level model compared to my mid-level model, which is costing over £1,000 here with this example, well, I just kind of wish it had it on it. Now, I appreciate that the high-end spec models from Motocaddy do have that extra wheel to stop it from tipping over. Maybe I'm just asking for too much for how much this trolley costs. But for me personally, £1,000, that's a lot of money. I'm not saying it's a lot of money for the trolley and the spec that you get. This seems pretty much on par with the other competitors in the market for the amount of features that you're getting. It's just a lot of money. In general, it's a lot of money to spend. I think my first car cost me £400. If you're not particularly bothered about having the GPS unit integrated into the trolley, then you're probably going to want to actually look at getting the cheaper S1 or M1 models. And if you want a unit that folds up more compact compared to the S series, then in terms of the Motocaddy range, you're definitely going to want to check out the M series instead. Now, I haven't had the chance to review any of the competitors to this very trolley, so I can't give any comment in terms of whether or not this one performs better than those at this moment. This is just a dedicated review just of this trolley. Now, if you're thinking that you might actually want to go for the lower spec models, then I have done full reviews of the Motocaddy M3 as well as the Powercaddy FX3, and I've even done a side-by-side comparison of those two trolleys, so you can check out either of those videos right here.